All right, Cousin Jano.
Hello,
Oh, no, I'm going to count you in.
Oh,
that wasn't
I'm like, I don't know.
Hold on. All right, I know. The thing is, I have the two things going. There's this whole in this room live stream recording, but then there's also the Zoom world. So anyway.
Okay. So just let me know.
I need to be a real pro here. Okay. I am recording in 5, 4, 3.
Hello, everyone. This is Cousin Jano, and I am here to talk about one of my favorite things of all time, the band Saga. Saga I've known since I was 13 years old. I've been listening to their music since then, up until about 10 minutes ago. They are from Oakville, fantastic band, one of the seminal prog rock bands of this country. One of my favorites of all time.
Well done, Cousin Jano.
Toronto. VK on the beat.
You're going to take over this podcast one day.
Probably.
I'm from Toronto where you wanna get a city love. I'm in Toronto like we wanna get a city love. My city love me back for my city love. I'm in Toronto where you wanna.
Welcome to episode 1805 of Toronto Mic'd, proudly brought to you by retrofestive.ca. Canada's pop culture and Christmas store. Great Lakes Brewery. Order online for free local home delivery in the GTA. Palma Pasta. Enjoy the taste of fresh, homemade Italian pasta and entrees from Palma Pasta in Mississauga and Oakville. Blue Sky Agency. Ask Doug Mills about how Silent delivers the space to focus, collaborate, and recharge. Nick Iones, he's the host of Building Toronto Skyline and Building Success, two podcasts you ought to listen to. Kindling, go to shopkindling.ca for free 1-hour cannabis delivery. Recyclemyelectronics.ca, committing to our planet's future means properly recycling our electronics of the past. And Ridley Funeral Home, pillars of the community since 1921. Today, making his Toronto Mic'd debut, it's Michael Sadler from Saga, but joining me while we wait for Michael, who's joining us via Zoom, so we'll hear a little bell and we'll all hear it together. Joining me in the basement studio is Saga superfan, Cousin Jano. How are you doing, Cousin Jano?
I'm good. I'm very excited. This is a Meet Your Heroes Day.
Well, you met me before. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's true. Meet my heroes and my heroes today.
So we have a little time. So I'm going to just peel back. You know, I like to peel back the curtain here. So we have an 11 a.m. Zoom with Michael Sadler from Saga. Don't call that band Saga.
No, please do not call them Saga.
What would happen if I called this band Saga?
Well, you would you would diminish in my eyes.
Okay, well, I can't have that happen. Okay, so this is a big deal for everybody, of course. Michael Sadler, we're going to find out how he's doing.
Yeah.
We're going to promote a show he has at the Heineken stage in Mississauga on December 14th.
Yes.
Hopefully, Michael will let us ask him a million questions about Saga and about the music.
Yep.
But the reason I booked, I'm being very honest with you right now, it's a tender moment. Hopefully the bell doesn't interrupt this wonderful moment we're going to share. I honestly booked Michael Sadler because I knew you were such a fan, and I thought if I can do this for Cousin Jano, then the whole experience, the whole social experiment makes complete sense.
I may have cried when I got the news. I may have cried.
Or did you cry?
Yeah, I cried. And texted everybody I knew. It's like, guess what I'm doing? Can't believe it, can't believe it, can't believe it. And I talked to my niece, Eleanor, who has known about Saga. She was born around the same time that I was, a high school student. And she used to go, Jano, Saga, socks. But she didn't mean it like it sucked. She was just like, Saga, socks. It was like a thing.
Yeah.
So first person I said, hey, can I say that, Eleanor? Can I say that on the podcast? She's like, for sure. So yes, I've been listening to them forever. My sister Cappy, so would be Cousin Cappy, was the one who got me interested in Saga, and it was a love affair ever since.
let's explain this nickname, though. I'm referring to you as Cousin Jano, but
Yes.
like I assume, and I've always done this, everybody's on the inside. This is this poor assumption I make. But that's some inside baseball. Why don't you explain for the great unwashed, why do I refer to you as Cousin Jano?
Well, you refer to me as Cousin Jano because my cousin Leslie was the one who got me in with this whole motley crew. And I believe she referred to me as Cousin Jano. It became
Yes,
my tagline for many a thing that I do. So I'm Cousin Jano, and by extension, my sister would be Cousin Cappy.
Okay, so these are names I need to know. Will Cousin Cappy be at TMLX 21 on Saturday?
No, I don't think so.
Well, why not? Like,
Well,
why
we
not
could
bring
ask
another
her.
in? Like, bring your sister into the fold.
We'll see if she can make
Palma
it.
Pasta will feed her.
Yes.
I'm bringing fresh craft beer from Great Lakes Brewery.
Excellent.
There's some cans in front of you, Cousin Jano. I can go home with you.
Thank you.
I'm told Ty the Christmas guy from retrofestive.ca. He's bringing a gift for the first 75
great.
people.
Great. I
say
got the
first
one last
75.
year.
So what did you get last year?
Was the mug, right?
The moose mug.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
so it's
great.
a different gift this year
Okay.
from a different movie.
Oh, cool.
And
Okay.
you might even be able to possibly guess which movie if you close your eyes and think really hard on it. But this is all happening Saturday, and everyone listening is invited. So we're going to do all the sponsor mentions off the top because at any moment a bell will ring and we'll have Michael Sadler on the line. But I'm going to do a few partner mentions, and then I'm going to grill you a little more about your Saga love affair.
Okay.
In fact, let me bring a little Saga in the background because I don't
Okay.
know with these Zooms, like it's not as easy with Zoom to bring in the music. Like
True.
I had Alan Doyle here yesterday and I found it like effortless that I'm just going to start playing some Great Big C.
Yeah.
And I can fade it depending on what he's saying or how he's feeling. I can
Yeah.
look into his eyes. But when you got a guy on Zoom, like,
That's
do
a
I just
challenge.
throw on the loose? Like I will, but I don't know how that's going
can.
to play. So here, let me play this.
Yes. Yes.
What are we listening to?
It's time from their very first album. And this was the song. Starts it all. And it's funny because it goes through I go up and down with this song. When their first live album In Transit came out, I was over the song because it was played and played and played. And I kind of rediscovered it. It's a fantastic song.
Where was it played? So you grew up, this is Toronto we're talking about,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
What
So,
radio stations would play Saga?
I'm gonna say Chum FM back in the day, but they made a lot of crossover. I mean, it was for a band that is characterized as a prog rock band. They have a lot of crossover, so you would hear songs on things like Chum.
What about Q107?
I didn't listen to a lot of Q107, but I would imagine I was a CFMY girl, so
Would CFNY play Saga?
probably
Because I feel like Marsden would be all, well, he came from
Yeah.
Chum FM, but he'd be all into this prog rock thing,
Yeah.
like Rush and all that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, I would agree.
Okay, so this is the first radio hit for Saga,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen to his voice. Come on.
and that's Michael on vocals.
Michael Sadler.
It's catchy. I dig it. I didn't know this
Yeah.
song till this week, and now I'm all like digging it. But
Yeah.
Cousin Jano, do you smoke weed?
I do not.
Do you have any loved ones who
Oh,
consume
I sure
cannabis?
do.
Okay, here's what you got to tell them, okay?
Okay.
Shopkindling.ca.
Shopkindling.ca.
Am I hitting, your cousin, Leslie Taylor, who has been in the basement
Yes.
for what did you think of the Father's Day episode
Oh,
a couple of Father's Days ago?
I cried, of course. It was nice to hear Dave.
cried
It was
too.
nice to hear Uncle Russell. It was nice to hear Chris and La talking about. It was fantastic. It might have been one of the first episodes I listened to.
Well, your
I'm not
cousin was
sure.
on it. You had to listen.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah.
So what she says, I'm not hitting the D hard enough on shopkindling.ca. Like I got, it sounds like kindling.
Oh,
it's kindling. There's nobody a
kindling.
camper out there. Come on. So
yeah.
shopkindling.ca. It's
Okay.
free delivery within an hour,
Yeah.
and you can track it online, and it's discreet. And welcome aboard shopkindling.ca. And I mentioned Retrofestive because they're giving us all a gift, but you can save 10% right now at retrofestive.ca with the promo code FOTM. You taking a note over there, Cousin Jano?
I am taking a note.
Taking a note here. Let's give some love to recyclemyelectronics.ca because, Cousin, yeah, you've heard this before. If you have old electronics, old cables, old devices, you do not throw it in the garbage because those chemicals end up in our landfill. You go to recyclemyelectronics.ca, put in your postal code, and find out where you drop it off for to be properly recycled.
Beautiful.
You're beautiful. Okay, let's shout out Nick Ienes. Do you think Nick will show up at TMLX 21 on Saturday?
I don't know Nick Iene. I've heard the name, but
I think you might have been at a TMLX at the brew pub, the GLB brew pub, where he was at. So maybe I didn't introduce you, but Nick is a big, lovable man. Love this man. He's the host of Building Toronto Skyline and Building Success, 2 podcasts that you should be listening to. And while you're listening to podcasts, listen to Life's Undertaking from Brad Jones at Ridley Funeral Home. Brad and Ridley Funeral Home have been pillars of this community since 1921. I mean, Brad's not that old, but he bought it from a guy who bought it from a guy. But they've been around since 1921. Oh, I like this in the background. Okay, last but not least.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you go to an office to work. Do you go to an office to work?
I do not. I'm a prof.
Okay, a prof. Okay, well, if these busy learning institutions require, creative and dynamic work environments, maybe privacy pods. I feel like this is a good thing for podcasters if you're in a noisy environment. You get yourself one of these silent privacy pods. And if you have any questions about any of this, your man is Doug Mills at Blue Sky Agency, and Doug can be reached Doug at blueskyagency.ca. Okay. So tell me a little more about Saga. So when I booked Michael Sadler, it was for you, but subsequently
greatly appreciated.
But I've realized now, even if you were unavailable,
I moved all sorts of stuff to make this happen.
Well,
this is, as I said to you, bucket list. An unexpected bucket list. Like, wait, what?
Well, have you ever met Michael?
I have never met any of them.
You've seen them live?
Oh, yes. Many, many, many times. Yeah, many times. I've got a few fun facts. One, they played my high school. I had tickets. Do you think like everyone was excited for me? Yes. Did I get the flu and was in bed and could not see them? Yes.
Wow.
I also have Jim Gilmore's towel from their concert, New Year's Eve concert at Maple Leaf Gardens, that I have to this day. And I have some memorabilia as well. I didn't bring it. And Ian and Jim Crichton, so the bass player and guitar player, their brother, his girlfriend was their sister. So she went to my high school. So there's all this kind of really cool Saga confluence going on.
Yeah, you're Saga adjacent.
Yes.
Your entire existence here.
Exactly.
So now I want to drill in because we have a bit of time here. Drill in on your level of nerves at this moment and how it's been. So from the moment I guess via WhatsApp, I don't know if it was WhatsApp or text, I can't remember, but what does that matter, Mike? What a detail. But Cousin Jano,
yes,
I think I invited you. I said, would you like to co-host? I'm all choked up. It's such a beautiful story. Would you like to co-host this episode with Michael Sadler from Saga? And you said yes. And I told you what time to be where and all that important info. And you're here right now. Great to see you. Always great. And I'm going to see you again on Saturday.
You are.
Damn straight. Can't wait. Now, walk us through, where were your nerves when you first heard? How has it been? Because it's been about, 48 hours or something.
Yeah. I've been nervous because, as you know, it's Meet Your Heroes, which I'm excited for. Yeah. Like when you meet your heroes, you're like, holy cow. Had I had more time to kind of emotionally prepare, I was nervous, but I knew once I got in here, once we got talking, it was going to be like, okay, it's going to be just fine. I know a lot. I'm not going to stick my foot in my mouth. He's going to be excited or not as to what I have to say or what questions I ask. He's been doing this forever. So, I looked at it as to sit down and chat with somebody who doesn't realize they've been my friend for 40 odd years.
Now, we do have a technical thing to discuss real quickly here, which is that, so he's on Zoom, and if you know Zoom, you get to pick one camera. Like, I don't get to pick multiple cameras in Zoom. So I get to pick one camera for me, and then the camera I'm currently using, so that it doesn't conflict with the fact that I'm actually recording this with the studio cameras.
Right.
Like, so I'm picking the laptop camera, right? And
Does that work best for you?
Well, it works best for me, but
Go for
it
it.
just means that he won't see you.
Oh. Can you flip ever?
Well, if I flip, it messes up the other. Like, there's two different streams of recording. I know this is all the technical. I like to, peel back the curtain. But I like at some point.
Maybe near the end you can flip it.
Yeah, like, okay. So I'm just saying, for the conversation, you'll just be like the voice of God. Okay.
Fair enough.
And I just hope that's okay that he doesn't see you, but you're gonna see him because you're gonna look at my screen.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
So, did you?
Here we go.
Well, he's got to show up first.
Oh, I thought he was here.
No, you're gonna hear a bell. Like, it's gonna be very exciting when you hear the bell, because that's when it's go time.
It's Pavlovian, really.
Yeah, and then forevermore when you hear like a Zoom bell,
I'll be like, Michael Sadler's coming.
Michael Sadler's here. So, you're born and raised in Toronto.
Born in Montreal, raised in Toronto.
So how old are you when you come to Toronto?
I was 2.
Oh yeah.
But we spend a lot of time going back and forth. Every summer, multiple times. I consider myself a Montrealer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I also lived there later in life, so.
Okay. Yeah. How long have you, in this stint of your Toronto life, how long have you been here?
25 years.
I think you're a Torontonian. I hate to break it to you.
Yeah. Well, I went to high school here. I went to
What high school did you go to?
A.Y. Jackson.
Okay, shout out
which
A.Y.
Jackson. Is the home of Alex Lifeson and Rush Mike. I mean, you can't miss Rush Mike on that one.
Yeah, but Rush Mike, who at one time had a perfect attendance record at TMLX events, will not be at TMLX 21 because his American wife is, I think, dragging him to the States for
again.
Cleveland.
He was at a wedding last time.
Well, he's spending too much. I know he's married to an American. Maybe that's an exception, but spending too much time, in enemy territory and not enough time at TMLX events.
I will let you say that.
I just did. Okay, so let me just address this 800-pound gorilla in the room, which is that we sort of thought for at least a moment, like Michael Sadler might be dying.
Yeah, I think I heard that through the Toronto community.
Well, here's what he posted. I took it, and we'll have to talk to him about this early in the episode, but he wrote on social media, Michael Sadler, I learned in April, just before boarding a cruise, that my cancer is incurable and untreatable. Mm-hmm. So that was the post. That was it. What are we supposed to make of that? There was no additional context or information. Like, I read that and I just thought, oh, what sad news. We're going to lose Michael soon.
He then went on, because of course I heard that. I went right on the internet. And he said later, at the time, that was the
next day, he said, this is what he wrote the next day. So a day later, after we all pretty much started shouting out Ridley Funeral Home, we're losing a legend here.
Yeah.
He wrote.
Think we did, but we thought it.
We didn't, because he's on our Zoom in 9 minutes.
Right.
The surgery I underwent successfully removed the cancer, and as no further treatment or cure is available in my case, my focus is on staying healthy. Yeah. So that's a very different tone than the initial post.
And then I think he wrote one, and I am paraphrasing, that he basically said, I'm not, 1 foot in the grave. He was like, I am sick and I am terminal, but I am not 1 foot in the grave. But I think that initial post, I was quite...
Yeah, it shook you, right?
Yeah, I might have texted Cousin Cappy. I probably texted Cousin Leslie. I probably texted... I was like, oh my God. And it really did shake my world in terms of this is a mainstay. And as I have said, and if my family can attest, there's never a time when you come over to my house that at some point while the random is going that Saga won't come on. Like, they are a big part of my life. And when things get unleveled, they are my leveler.
And are you going to share this with Michael?
I sure am. Of course.
What do you think about... Okay, so I think I'm a titch younger than you.
Yes, you are.
But I am a fan of rock who did listen to a lot of Q107 and a lot of CFNY, but probably at the time you're probably listening with Marsden and the gang. I'm
Yes.
probably tuned to Tom Rivers on 680 CFTR.
Oh, I remember him. Yeah.
You don't hear not a lot of Saga going on over there in
No.
the top 40 world.
No.
Although one song maybe, but we'll get to
Yes.
that. So me, and I consider my ear to the ground with music. And I never really realized Saga. Like, I knew 2 songs precisely. I knew 2 Saga songs
Yeah.
that I would hear on the radio, just flipping
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Can you guess the 2 songs I know?
On the Loose would be one of them, and
What Do I Know?
yeah,
What do I know?
Yeah, which isn't. I think I heard some other stuff, but yeah, I mean, this is, everyone knows this song.
So let's hear the big banger here while we wait for Michael. You dance.
That's his key thing. Isn't it?
So this is the song that breaks them in the top 40 universe.
Yes.
I have a note here, and see what I'm doing here. See how that controls the song. This fader right here I'm pointing to.
Yeah.
When Michael shows up, I have to remember he's on the same channel. So if I do
Okay.
that, I'm losing Michael. But that's that's a fun technical production thing here. But On the Loose peaks at number 22 on the Canadian charts. We're going back to
Does.
January 1982.
Yeah.
So for this song, I would say 100 out of 100 Canadians, they probably recognize this song if they're
Yeah.
of a certain age. But without a doubt, this is the big Saga jam.
Yeah, it is. And we used to, as kids, record it on VCRs and watch, this was certainly one of them. And this was played a lot on, was much music
Well,
on
I'm going to
it?
bet you're thinking of Toronto Rocks.
It must have been. This video got played a lot. And
Right
so,
beside Helix.
well,
Give me an R.
Yeah. Maybe.
It's
Sure.
a good, so, what does a super fan think of the big hit?
I love them. I love their musicality. They have incredible layers of all sorts of synth and guitar and vocals. So it's a great song. It's not In My Desert Island. But
Do you want to give us your
so my
top Saga jams?
my 3 absolute favorite songs are The Interview, which comes off Worlds Apart. And
that's this album, right?
Yes.
That's the big one.
And the other 2 come off their first album, Images at Twilight. And, of course, I'm blanking on their names right now. It is There He Sits, Drawing Images. It's called Images. There's my singing for you, everyone. Images and also Slow Motion. And the fun fact about that is the first 3 albums had 3 different keyboard players. And then Jim Gilmore came in on Silent Night, and basically, although there have been lineup changes because they've been around a long time and people do other things, stayed pretty much for the whole thing. And he's a phenomenal keyboard player, opera singer. Yeah.
So is the guy from Helix. He was an opera singer.
Was he? I don't know that we heard much of that, did we?
I think
I'm not a
at
big
the
Helix
end, I think
fan.
he did it.
Yeah.
Because, I actually hope I got the right band. Yeah, Helix. The guy from Helix, opera singer. Hey,
Wow.
here. So let me check your temperature.
Yeah.
Not literally, but a Saga. Saga. Don't say Saga, Mike. Do
Oh
not
my
mess
gosh,
this up.
don't ever say Saga.
What a banger here. So it's now 10:57.
Okay.
Now,
Oh,
rock
good.
stars are not known for being early or anything, but I'm only mildly nervous for you because Rance Mullinax was scheduled a week or so ago for a
Right.
Zoom just like this. And I was solo. I'm down here in the same mode. I'm all set. I'm sitting here. I'm going to chat with Rance. My hero, Rance Mullins.
Yeah.
Okay. And he doesn't show. And then I give him 5 minutes. I give him 10 minutes. And I write him an email. And I'm like, I got ghosted by Rance Mullins. Like, that's a badge of honor. But then he was very apologetic and he made it up to me. And his episode from Friday was fantastic. But how do you feel now knowing that at any second now we're going to hear ding?
I'm good. I knew, like, the apprehension is always beforehand. I mean, it's Michael Sadler. I get to meet Michael Sadler virtually. I mean, who not on my bingo card. Not even
not
close.
On your bingo card.
No, not at all. So, either way, the live stream gets to hear how much I like Saga or Michael Sadler gets to hear.
Did you think I was recording this, Cousin Jano?
Are you not?
I am.
Yeah, I thought so. I was
but
like, we're live streaming.
I
Yeah.
think that
that
initial social media post that said I have, terminal cancer that's not treatable or whatever, in a sense, you probably thought you would never get this opportunity.
No.
Like, would we even have a Michael Sandler in the universe?
Sadler.
Say it again?
Sadler.
What did I say?
Sandler.
I don't know if I said Sandler because I know it's Sadler. Okay, I have this bizarre
how
accent.
serious I take my Saga.
Oh my goodness. It's Saga, okay?
Yeah, sorry.
So let's shout out some people on the live stream, many of whom we will see in the flesh on Saturday at Palma's Kitchen. Again, second floor of Palma's Kitchen, noon to 3 next Saturday, which is the 29th?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, it's a Saturday. Okay, I just heard the bell. I'm actually nervous for you.
Here we go.
So again, I have to make sure he sounds good, let him know who you are, and then we're going to let the listenership hear how this transpires. But this is Michael Sadler.
Yes.
Yes, I know this. Here we go. Michael, letting him in.
Here we go. Meet your heroes.
Michael.
Mike.
Always good to meet another Michael.
How are you, sir?
There's so few of us, right?
No kidding. Yeah. It's such an uncommon name.
So when you meet one in the wild, it's exciting here. But absolute pleasure. So, Michael, thank you for doing this. But I have to tell you that there is somebody else in the room with me. But because of the cameras, I'll have to show you her at the end of the chat, and then you can meet her, which will be a thrill for her. But can I introduce you to who I believe to be the biggest Michael Sadler fan, the biggest Saga fan I know of? This is Cousin Jano.
Hi, Michael. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Jano. How are you?
Good. How are things? Are you in LA right now?
No, I'm in an undisclosed location somewhere in the Midwest.
All right. Well, welcome. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
So, Michael, as we chatted up here, you'll hear from Jano quite a bit because she has questions she's been holding on to for many, many years.
Alrighty, I'll try and search my memories. There's a lot of them in here. I know they're in there. It's just accessing them sometimes.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, wow, you're going far back.
Yeah.
This man has had a life. He may not remember.
And then some. Yeah.
Well, to be discussed. Go ahead, Michael.
I was going to say. This is going to be recorded, obviously, because we're not live. I have a few links that I can supply you afterwards that you can attach to the broadcast when it goes. Is that?
Yes, 100%. Yes, absolutely.
Good.
In fact, on that note, if you don't mind, I'd like to, right off the top, let the listenership know, because a lot of Saga fans are tuned in right now, especially in the GTA, but you have a pop-up show scheduled for December 14th on the Heineken stage in Mississauga. I want to shout out Ed Souza, who's been in this very basement on this program. But this
100%.
So what do you think of this chap, Ed, who's promised me he's going to see me on Saturday at an event I'm hosting at Palma's Kitchen Saturday. He says he's going to be there, and we'll know it's him by his hat. But
yes.
What do you know?
You'll see him coming like 3 miles away.
And he likes it that way.
I think his hat enters the room before he does.
So what can we expect on December 14th in Mississauga?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Some Saga material. There's some things that I've done with David Barrett, who's going to be accompanying me. Some original material of his that I've recorded with him. We've also recorded some cover material. Some other cover material, some things like I think we're doing a Bowie tune or two, maybe a couple of Beatles songs, and that. It's a very loose, very informal. Sit down, play a few songs, tell a few jokes. Yeah, it is what it is. It's a pop-up show. I contacted Ed, said I felt like doing something with David. I have family in the area. I thought I'll kill a few birds with one stone, come up and say hi to everybody, sing a few songs, and hang out. I mean, you asked about Ed. Ed has been. I met him. I actually believe, unless Ed wants to correct me if I'm wrong, I believe I met him the first time doing a show, the Heineken stage with David Barrett, an acoustic thing, and that was the first time I had met Ed, and we've had contact, a lot of contact over the years with Saga gigs, solo gigs. He's just outstanding. He's great at what he does. He's one of the most likable people out there in this business, and they are few and far between, and he's one of the good guys.
And most importantly, a great promoter of wonderful music.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
Now, Cousin Jano, are you going to be at the Heineken stage on December 14th?
I'm going to try my hardest.
Okay, we'll do better than that. Jano, that doesn't sound like a...
No, yeah.
That doesn't sound like a commitment to me.
Well, sorry, Michael. Yes, I will be there.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Can I come and say hi? I mean,
Of
you
course.
don't know what I look like right
Well,
now.
I'll
You
show
but-
see, it's really difficult not to in a room like that.
Yeah. Well, some people
no-
are like,
there's
I'm
no-
performing. Believe
There's
me.
no back door, as it were.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. It'd
Yeah.
definitely be a glorified meet and greet after I'm all said and done. So,
Okay.
Amazing.
Okay.
very
Okay.
informal.
Now,
Okay.
Mako, so many things going on. I did want to record this Zoom, so you're going to have to consent on your side here, but...
Recording in progress.
That's from the better late than never category there. May I ask you how you're feeling these days, Michael?
Yeah.
A lot better than a year ago.
Good.
How's that? Yeah, it's. I guess it's gone past being a work in progress, as it were. I was, diagnosed with the cancer last year, around I think August or so, and we had to move on it very quickly. I won't get into the details of the nature of the cancer. That suffice to say, it was non-treatable, and so the offending pieces had to be removed. And I went through that and had a major tour in Europe lined up. And I said to my physician, "Would you mind would it be
Mind if I go?
would it be feasible if we put this off until the middle of?" And I was about to say the word December. I got halfway through it, and he just started shaking his head, and I went, "Okay, now I understand the urgency of this." And I was in the operating room, I think, like 2 weeks after that, and then on stage about 3 weeks after that. And he said, "I'm not going to condone this, but if you want to, just be careful." And it was rough. The tour itself, the shows themselves were fine. You almost never know what I was going through. But it was after the show and the traveling and all of that really, really took its toll. So, but I couldn't cancel. There were too many people. The shows were mostly sold out.
Yeah.
You've got local, local crews. You've got the audience, the tickets, and I just said there's too many moving parts and too many people that would be out of work, out of being able to go to a show. I said no. I've got to. If I can do this, if there's any way I can pull this off, I've got to do it. So it ended up being very successful. Paid the price when I came home. Because I said to the guys, "We're not doing that anytime soon. I've got to really get a handle on this." But it is what it is, and it's an adjustment. It kind of makes you look at life slightly differently, and you start waking up in the morning going, "Hey, I made it to another day." So, but just monitoring it, regular checkups and keeping an eye on it. So,
Because I was
feeling a lot better. Thank you.
I was going to see you at Kerfest. And
Yes.
that was, I think, around the time, which is fitting because it's in Oakville, that it all kind of came out that you...
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was September something, very early in September.
Yeah.
The surgery was September 12th. So
Yeah.
it was kind of,
Yeah.
timing was not great. So,
Yeah. Yeah, because then it was also, I follow you on Instagram. I follow Saga on Instagram, and you had posted there. And then did you end up doing a cruise after that you were on, or was that before?
After the European tour, early, I guess April it was the tour or the show. Again, it was a commitment that was made. Far less stress than the tour, because you get on the boat and there you are. I had a wheelchair to get around just for stamina's sake, and 2 shows on the cruise. But I said to the guys, this is it for now. I just this is about as much as I can do. I've got to start really just concentrating on the health.
For sure.
And so we kind of went on hiatus and went into like looking after family and health, and everybody's got a few things going on that we kind of put on the back burner when we're busy all the time, and it gave us a chance to just kind of regroup. We've got some writing to do. We're staring the 50th year.
Yes, you are.
It's like a year and a half off, or less than a year and a half off. So we're kind of into a writing mode now, because we're thinking about that. So we'd like to have something for the 50th. So it's in a way it's a blessing. Well, there should be. I mean, we can't just fade off into, not with the 50th, imminent. So it's almost a blessing in disguise, where we're kind of forced to get into that mode and relax at home and do some writing and spend time with family. I have a chance to spend a lot of time with Saren, my son, who I'm now in a band with, called Saren Gazer. We had our premiere at Prague Stock this last October.
Excellent.
And we've also got a really cool YouTube channel going, where we are. Okay. It's a series of reaction videos to the entire Saga catalog. And we're doing one song at a time, starting with the very first album. I think we're in the middle of dropping the second song of side 2 of the third album right now. Okay. But it's really cool, because it's him hearing the songs mostly for the first time. He's heard some songs because he's been on tour with me. Yeah. But he's discovering it, and it's great for me, because I'm going down memory lane and I'm remembering things. He's asking me questions where I go, geez, I don't know. How did we record that? So it's great for me. And it's really cool, because it's a chance to hang with him and watch him react to what Dad's been doing most of his life. So, and it's great. It's growing. It's quite organic, and it's not, an immediate overnight sensation, but we're up to, close to 1,000 subscribers already. And wow. And the people are really enjoying, I think, the dynamic of he and I together, first of all, but then, my reflections on some of the way we recorded things, or little, stories here and there, and watching him go, wow, how'd you do that, Dad? He said, I actually like this song. I'm like, wow, thanks.
Thanks, Dad.
But I actually like what you do, so it's good.
So you said, of course, the Saga and Me is like second album, B-side, or second side, third song. Is Slow Motion or Images? What was it?
No.
I tried.
No, I tried. I'm gonna. I think we started off. Let me see. We just started off. Too Much to Lose. Yeah. Was side 1. Or sorry, side 2. First track. I believe the end of side 1 was Compromise.
Right. Right.
You might be right.
We'll see.
Listen,
I can't.
She usually is.
You see, now this is one of those questions. Like I said, it'll be like, what song is on what album and what number is it in the running order?
Right.
You know better than I do. I mean, it's
Yeah. Well, I have it from it was on Polydor. I have that before you went on to Maze Records and doing it.
Right. Right.
That was all your own, correct?
Yes,
yeah,
it was.
Yeah. With what's his name? Corcoran?
Clive Corcoran.
Clive Corcoran. Yeah, my uncle's name. Yeah. I thought it was Clive. Yeah. Well, that's cool. What is the name of the YouTube channel again? So that, of course, I will go and subscribe and watch.
It's Teen Reacts to Dad's 80s Music, if you want to look at it that way. Okay. Or just look up Saren Gazer. Okay. But it's there. Yeah. If you just do Teen Reacts to Dad's 80s Music, it'll come up.
Yeah.
So, Michael, I'm glad to hear you're feeling well. You sound strong to me. Like you sound great. I didn't talk to you a year ago when you were in less positive shape, but you sound great.
Less animated. Yeah, I feel good. I have to say, I mean, for all like outward appearances and that, I feel a lot stronger than I did. I lost a ton of weight because of it at the time.
Yeah.
That's all back. I'm trying to exercise as much as I can, healthy diet and all of that. Like I said, it just puts life, in perspective when something like that, you get that kind of news like, oh, okay, time to readjust. But I feel good. I'm surrounded with really, strong support, and the people, the fans and that, and friends and family have been tremendous. So
Yeah.
Here I am.
So again, Jano, I know you got a million questions, but
It's all good.
But I need if possible, Michael, the Saga origin story. You mentioned Oakville. You mentioned almost 50 years ago. How does Saga form?
Reader's Digest version?
Or not, it's up to you.
I was in a band with Jim Crichton, bass player, called Truck in the very, very early days, like 1972, 73, 74. I was invited to join that band. I was in a band that was a blues band originally, if you can believe it, like an authentic Chicago blues band. I'm this white kid out of a church choir, fresh out of quit school, quit the choir, and joined this band with older guys. I think they were all in their, mid-20s. And here's this 16-year-old kid singing the blues, if you can believe it. And we kind of transitioned into a sort of a jazz blues jazz band, and then kind of jazz rock-ish kind of fusion thing, which made sense later in retrospect, because I remember being in that band where the drummer went into Toronto, big city, one day. This was all it was actually in Burlington. Well, we moved to Burlington. It was in Burlington we were living at the time, the band house. He went into Toronto and came home, and he said, "Michael, I got this album, you got to hear it." And he put this album on. We listened to side one. There was silence. He turned it over, put side two on. And at the end of it, I remember looking at him saying, "I have no idea what the hell that is, but I want to make music like that." And it was Gentle Giant's first album. Oh. And I found out later that they originally, I believe they were a band called Simon Dupree and the Big Sound. And it was kind of a jazz fusion rock thing. So it made sense that it became what's called prog, essentially. And that was the birth of that beginning for me. And we played 4 shows, because one of our songs was 25 minutes long. One song was 17 minutes long. Yes, it was over the top prog. Yeah,
that's Genesis territory.
And we had you had to have a mellotron if you were going to play prog in the 70s. So we had a mellotron, a notoriously unreliable instrument for traveling. And sure enough, this one of the 4 shows we did, it broke down. And we found out the only people that had one was a band called Truck. And Jim and Todd Booth, the keyboard player, drove to London, Ontario from the Toronto area with a mellotron to let us borrow. I don't know what the connection was to this day. I would have to ask how we even knew that they had one, or knew of Jim and Todd. But they were gracious enough to drive all the way to London with a mellotron that we could use. And through that connection, that band. Funny thing about that band, one of the 4 gigs that we played was playing the Kita Bala.
Oh,
and yes, and we were the headliner on the bigger of the 2 stages. And one of our opening, or the earlier bands before us, was Rush.
No kidding.
Yes.
Tie into Alex Lifeson going to my high school. So,
yeah, really?
Yeah.
Well, I believe it was at Don Mills Collegiate?
A.Y. Jackson.
Okay, because I think Jim went to school with, he mentioned he went to school with Alex, I believe. Oh. So maybe he went to the same school.
Maybe.
But anyway, I mean, I don't know if Getty would remember it, but John Rutsey would have been playing drums still at the time, because this is, I guess, 72, I'm thinking, 70 something, like early on. But yeah. So anyway, that band broke up. I got a call from Jim because he knew me through, us borrowing the Mellotron. And the singer from Truck was leaving, and he asked if I would be interested. I got the gig with Truck. We played for a few years together. And then the band broke up, and the management was it was not a pleasant scene. Everything kind of fell apart, and it left a bad taste in my mouth about the music business. And I got out of the music business for about a year and a half. I had a corporate job. I was
Wow.
a graphic arts salesman. I worked on the table for a while, and then I was behind the wheel of this corporate car, three-piece suit, briefcase, going around trying to get clients. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Mind
then I
blown, Michael. Mind blown.
Yeah, when I think about it. Yeah, and I came home from work one day and I got a call from Jim, and he said, "Hey, I'm working on some songs. You want to come over and just put your vocal on it? Just I have a guide vocal on these 3 or 4 songs I have." I said, "I'd love to." So I went over, had some supper, and then after supper went into the living room, and the drums were like using cardboard boxes just to get a rhythm, and it was a sound on sound tape machine,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did the vocals on 3 or 4 songs, had a great time, and went back. I went home. Next day I woke up, put my suit on, got in the car, did my thing, came home, remembering what had happened the night before, and I looked in the mirror after I came home. And I went, "Who are you?" And I said, "What are you doing?" Needless to say, I quit the next day. I said, "Man, I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. This is not me."
Yeah.
And I called up Jim and I said, "So you want to go for it?" He said, "Absolutely." And that was it. We just started writing, and Ian was a logical choice. Ian Crichton being his brother, and Steve Nagus he had played with not only in Truck in the band called Flood that Jim and also Peter Rochon, our original keyboard player.
Yep.
The 3 of them had played together in Flood. So that was it. We added Ian into the mix, and that was the birth of the band. But it was called Pockets in the beginning.
Yep.
You would know that.
Yep.
Where does the name Saga come from?
That was us sitting around a boardroom table, basically, in the management office, going, "We got to change the name because this other band released an album before us called Pockets, so we need to change the name." So it's like, okay, throwing out I don't know who did it. Somebody just dropped the name Saga, and we all kind of paused and went, "Hang on, first of all, it's a nice short and sweet name. It's only 4 letters. That's it's like Rush, Saga. It's very punchy."
Right.
Yeah.
But the implication of the never-ending story, the ongoing tale of, was appealing because you're thinking longevity at that point, even though, you kind of cross your fingers hoping that a band will last 3 or 4, maybe 5 years at the best. Then you hit the 10th anniversary, then the 20th, and then ooh, okay.
Yeah.
But it was really that, just out of necessity. But I'm glad it happened because it was a much more, I guess, appropriate name considering the kind of music we were playing and what lay ahead for us. So.
And what would you say to somebody who called you Saga?
I say, "Are you from Canada?"
Right? Right?
Hey, you're from Canada, eh?
I can't. Every time someone says Saga, I'm like, actually, it's Saga.
Oh, sorry.
Saga.
Well, it's
Yeah.
pasta.
Sorry.
I know it's pasta, not pasta. So.
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah.
Okay, big question for you from Leslie Taylor,
All right.
who I know is Jano. That's why Jano's called Cousin Jano, because Leslie Taylor is her cousin. This is a long inside story, Michael, we won't bore you with. But
Yes.
to what does Michael attribute the success of Saga in Germany?
Thanks for stealing my question, La.
Well, come on, Ma. Okay, let's hear it.
I've been asked that a number of times.
Yes.
I can't. Okay, it's only a theory. The only thing I can. Well, here's the thing. The 2 territories in the world that took off for us, or we took off in, or embraced the band, as it were Germany and Puerto Rico. Now, when you think about that, you go, I mean, culturally and geographically, it's like, what do these 2 territories possibly have in common? And you got, what? Best explanation that we have been able to come up with is perhaps the more symphonic side of the band, excuse me, at the time, with the strings and this and that, appealed to the classical, I don't want to say upbringing of the fan, but they're surrounded by classical music, steeped in classical background, culturally and historically, on a musical perspective. And in Puerto Rico, very much into rhythm, obviously. So perhaps, and we had that combination. That's why we've kind of been an enigma and hard to describe, because we're a little bit too proggy for the straight up rock audience, and a little too rock for the real prog purists. So we're in that middle ground. We're very rhythmic, and that's my best explanation, that the rhythm, like songs like Humble Stance and You're Not Alone, appeal to the Puerto Ricans, or the Latino population, and the more orchestral side of the band perhaps appeal to the Europeans. That's my best explanation. It seems to make sense to me. Anyway.
Well, right out of the hop, so that the debut album is self-titled Saga, and then you're selling. It's in Germany. It's an import in Germany, and it sells over 30,000 copies. So right out of the hopper.
Yeah. And the record company was like, they were watching this, and hang on a second, these guys are selling a lot of imports. Get on the phone with the management. Hey, how about and we went, sure, but that's how it happened. And in fact, Puerto Rico. The first time we went down there, we had a sold out show, a few thousand people, but we didn't know what to expect. We were invited to play in Puerto Rico. We're like, huh? And we had only sold a handful of records, but it was at the time when, one guy would get the record, then they make a few copies on cassette, and then it would spread through the island. And there was a radio station called Alpha Rock 106. They were 100% into the band and started playing us over and over and over. And of course, with the help of MTV, which we got in right at the beginning, that's another story, but timing wise, we were a household name by the time we got down there. And we couldn't believe the reaction. It was like, wow, we actually mean a lot on this island. And it just grew from there. And to this day, the beautiful thing about that is Alpha Rock, the radio station that supported us so much, so fervently through the years, they went off the airwaves a couple of years ago, I believe now. And the very, very last song they ever played was The Perfectionist.
Oh, good song.
But it was the very last thing you ever heard from that radio station. That's how much they were into the band. And the strange thing is, that's a waltz. Now there's Puerto Rico, and they're glomming onto this. It's basically a waltz. It's a 3/4. Yeah. And that's. But it was huge on the island, and they chose that as their final song. I was like, wow.
Interesting.
So but Germany and Puerto Rico. You tell me.
Well, that was one of the things that I was thinking. I'm trying to sort that out as I'm thinking, what questions am I going to ask Michael? And that was one of them where they appear to be disparate, but in fact aren't. Once you kind of give this explanation, it makes a lot of sense.
Very thorough, good, very thoughtful explanation.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Well, like I said, it makes sense to me, so I'm going with it.
Well, it makes sense if you know the music. You're like, right, okay, for very kind of different songs for different things, but the musicality.
True. And it's pretty timeless too. I found it, and I noticed, doing the series with my son. Sarah will point out, you say, this is great. It doesn't sound like it was done, 35 years ago or whatever. It sounds like it could have been done yesterday. So, I mean, apart from some of the production from the earlier albums, obviously, the sounds, I'd like to, if I had a chance, re-record some of them. But then again, it is what it is. But yeah, I found, and I've had this comment many times over the years, that it's kind of timeless. There's no time stamp in terms of, that was definitely the early 90s. That's what music sounded like in the early 90s. So it reflects that. It doesn't really.
And I was thinking about that in terms of the consistency. As I was looking at the timeline and looking at the discography, which of course I know, your sound is really consistent, considering the lineup changes that you've gone through. It has been remarkably consistent, and I also thought timeless. And I was thinking, was that because you loved them so much, and it was like, no, it really is timeless. And you've really kind of embraced a lot as you went along in your journey, in my opinion, as the listener. And I have a couple questions. When I think about Saga, not Saga, but Saga, and technology, you were early adopters. You did In Transit was, direct to disc, which I couldn't even imagine being terrifying. The Briefcase. You were really, Jim Gilmore and I saw an interview a few years ago that he did about just the amount of technology that he's now using, and has been using over the years. What made you jump on that bandwagon?
We just tried to stay ahead of the curve. We always tried to be not purposely different, but we just wanted to have something new to offer. And we just, anything brand new that came out, we had to try it. There were things that we went, no, that's gimmicky or whatever. Yeah. But we could see what was coming, and we jumped on it as early as we possibly could. Steve with the Simmons kit, the electronic drum kit, and then going, you know what? These are just a bunch of triggers. We can build that. Anything could be a drum. That's when we did the Briefcase thing.
Right.
Said, wow.
Yeah.
Which turned in, and that was, the Briefcase was, it was meant solely for a live thing. It was meant for fun, for part of the show, and the whole visual of it, opening this briefcase and doing a drum duet with Steve. The fact of the matter is, that drum solo, as it were, I think we put that together in like 20 minutes. It was just, it was less about the drum solo itself than it was about the spectacle, the actual optic of opening a briefcase and hearing these drums. The funny thing is, it became so popular because of In Transit. Yeah. We were in a sort of rock disco not long after In Transit had come out, and they're playing rock music, people on the dance floor and that, and it was kind of not the dance floor wasn't that busy at that moment, and the DJ put on the single A Briefcase, which was called on the album. And as soon as it started, the dance floor just got packed. And I remember sitting back going, what? Yeah. These people are dancing to a drum solo? Yeah. But I get it. But to answer your question, just trying to stay ahead of the curve, anything new to be slightly different, to enhance what we had. Yeah. We've always tried to, we've gone out of our way to sound like us. We've never said we're going to make this kind of record, or we're going to make this kind of record, or this would be popular, or this. Yeah. We just, I've always just said, okay, it's time to write some new music. Whatever comes out is whatever we're feeling, whatever sounds good to us. Yeah. And we used to joke about if we were in a rehearsal or in a writing mode, if we played a certain part and someone said, oh, that reminds me of such and such, we'd say, oh, we can't use that. Right. Even if it was like 2 bars worth of something, we go, no, we can't use that. If that reminds you of that means it's going to remind someone else of that. And we don't want anybody thinking about that if they're listening to this. So. Yeah.
And I would agree. You're consistent. It's
varied, but it's consistent in its uniqueness.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, I would agree. I have seen you perform A Briefcase 3 or 4 times. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what is happening when you walk down and you put it on the stool and it goes glang, and everyone's like, what's happening here? Like, what is in that briefcase? And that is an excellent. Steve Negus is an excellent, in my humble opinion, excellent drummer. Really unbelievable. And that whole call and response back and forth is amazing. Yeah. So
it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Well, you always looked like you were having fun doing it. You always looked like you were having a lot of fun doing it. So
I think I was having more fun watching the reaction of people, looking out at people like, what?
Like me going, what is in that briefcase?
Yeah. That sound is coming out of there. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned something, sort of dial back to the name Saga and the chapters, which, of course, I have consumed over and over and over again, being like, what does it mean? What's going on? So I have a two-pronged question. One, you know, the first 9 are the first 8 are written, then the second set are written almost 20 years apart. If I've got my math right, which is not my strong suit. But how did you come up with that? Did you build around the chapters? Did you write the chapters as you were going and say, this will go well here, this will go well here? Because this
More
is
like
a
that.
big story.
No, it was more the latter. It was as we went. You know the beginning, you know the end, and then it was
Yes.
like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yes.
And you know, say the third album, we need a couple of chapters.
Yeah.
And we would be writing the music, and then invariably one would just tell us.
Yeah.
It was like, I am the next chapter.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you start playing, you know, musically, working on something like "Don't Be Late." It's like, oh, this is obviously a chapter. This has got to be
course.
one of the chapters.
Yeah.
And then it was a matter of, okay, the mood of the music is such that, okay, what would be happening in the story at what point?
Yeah.
This should be the music that explains that part.
Right.
Images was a logical choice for the beginning because that's how the whole thing starts, and
Yeah.
you start with the ballad and that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really a musical jigsaw puzzle at that point. Like I said, we knew how it was going to begin and how it was going to end without revealing everything, because there were
Right.
still plans to do something larger with it.
Yeah.
People were discussing at one point a stage production of it, perhaps an animated series.
Wow.
You know, something that explains everything with graphics and with the visual.
Yeah.
But that aside, we always wanted it to be a bit of a jigsaw puzzle. And also, if you think about it, we do the first album with a couple of things called chapters on them.
Yeah.
And there's 2, not even in order. Then the next one, then there's 2 more, and then so it almost guaranteed well, if you're doing 8 chapters, it almost guarantees you're going to do at least 4 albums. So it was kind of an insurance policy.
Yeah.
But
We got to finish at some point in terms of the chapters. So give us 4 albums. Yeah.
so we got to release at least 4, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, and it just took on a life of its own, and
It did, because I remember when chapter 8 came out, I was like, I ran. I was like, I got to get, because at the beginning there is all of the little snippets, and I'm like, are these the snippets that tell the story
right.
of all the chapters? And
Right.
yeah, I mean, it really did.
It's also been fun when we hit 16.
Yeah.
It's been listening and reading people's. It's like, oh, I finally figured out this is what it is.
Yeah.
And some of the explanations are not completely wrong, but like, wow, interesting in their own right. But you know, whether they're wrong or right, what was very cool about it is they were so vested enough to follow it and think to themselves, well, I think this is what's going on. So it got people, you know, interested that way and got creatively thinking, and like, so that's a compliment in itself, you know, that people
Yeah.
were interested enough to try and, you know, figure out the stories.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think what attracted me to the band consistently over time is, you know, I have a very rich inner world. If you are somebody who knows me well, you know that I have a very rich inner world. And you as a band met me in that rich inner world. Like, it was never like you would just listen to a song and be like, well, that's a nice song. You know, it always felt textured. It always felt like there was this big, you know, story being told, be it through the layers of music, be it the lyrics, be it the vocals. I mean, it is a band for people, I think, with a really, really rich inner world. And that, I think, is why I'm like, if there are days that are a bit tough, I'm like, just pop some of that on, you'll be fine. And you go off into, you know, really,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
during really tough times in my life where I'm like, I need to feel level. I'm just going to put some Saga on.
I've heard that so many times over the years, and it's a great compliment. People saying, you got me through a rough time, or I used this song to propose to my wife, or my brother was in the hospital and he was a big fan, and one guy said I can't remember the relationship, but someone was in a coma and they kept playing Saga music and then ended up coming out of it. Now, whether we were, you know, the reason for him coming out of the coma, or just part of the aiding in that, in that process, it was I mean, imagine how it makes you feel. It's like, my God, if that's true, that it meant that much, that it, and to hear these stories being shared, it's like, wow. You write some songs, you cross your fingers, you hope people like them. That's how it starts.
Yeah.
And then to have so many people not just enjoy listening, but are actually affected by it, and in a positive way.
Yeah.
It's a great compliment. It means more than the accolades and the money and the fame and all of that. That's much more satisfying at the end of the day.
Yeah. Speaking of accolades, I have to kind of laugh, and I want to kind of get your take on this. You win a Juno for Most Promising Band 4 albums in, if my math is correct.
Yes,
What's your thought on that? Because I'm like,
it was well. There are two things. The most promising band. Thanks. It looks like you think we're going to make it. And it was. I believe the Juno Awards took place while we were in the middle of a tour.
You were
in Europe. And
sold out tour everywhere.
Doing quite well. Yeah. And we got that news, and I just found it funny. It was ironic. I mean, still to this day. We're known in Canada, but we're still a bit like a well-kept secret for the most part.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, I know that band. Yeah, didn't they do "Turn Me Loose"? No, that was Loverboy. Oh yeah. The word "loose" is in there. Yeah.
I bet you. I was thinking that just before we started this chat, Michael, that how many people confuse "Turn Me Loose" by Loverboy with "On the Loose" by Saga. I bet you that happens a lot.
Only title-wise, but yeah, obviously.
It's a little different.
We need a mashup.
Mashup.
But it happens. Not less than you might think, but it obviously has come up.
Well, this is a nice little gateway for me to ask how On the Loose changes things for Saga, because now you're a top 40 band, Michael.
God forbid. Yeah.
You are.
Something we never wanted. Well, all that meant was a wider reach, obviously, a larger audience to listen to, what we've been doing. Then it invites people to go back and see where, how we got there. So it really opened. I mean, the album Worlds Apart just opened things up to a whole other level for us, which was wonderful. Working with Rupert Hine, just it was. I mean, for me personally, if you listen to, I made jokes about this as we were going through the reaction series with my son. Some of the early vocals, I mean, I was pretty green in terms of singing rock and roll, because, like I said, I came out of a church choir background, and if you listen to them, I'm singing the songs pretty precisely and very concerned about doing it the right way and tonally and expression and all of that.
Yeah.
Up until Worlds Apart. And we went for our first sort of meeting with Rupert and Steve, the engineer, in the control room at Farmyard Studios in England. And I remember sitting there, the 5 of us are sitting there on the couch, and I just relaxing. And Rupert looked at us and was like, okay, let's talk about their vision for the album, how he what he thinks and his input. So let's start with the drums. Steve, this is what I hear, changing this, maybe enhancing this, and what's broke, what's not broke, or just his feelings on it. And then one by one, keyboards and guitar and bass, and left the vocals to the end. It's like, and I'm sitting there and going, here it comes. And he's like, all right, Michael, let's talk about the vocals. And I'm like, And he said, just very simply said to me, he says, all right, here's the thing. We know you can sing. That's not the issue.
Mm-hmm.
What I want you to do now is forget everything you learned. And I thought, but you just said, what he meant was, you know how to do it. Now just do it.
Right.
Don't think about it. Just look at the lyric, feel the lyric, tell the story. Just be, and if you make a mistake, that's the whole idea in the studio. You can do it again. Just go out, just feel the song, just sing it. Don't think that it has to be perfectly right. Get more emotional with it. And from that moment on, you'll hear a difference from Worlds Apart going forward, decidedly from the third album to Worlds Apart. There's a different vibe to the vocal. And it's directly as a result of Rupert's influence on the way I sing.
Interesting.
And really all he did was he deprogrammed me. Is essentially it. He said, we know you can do it. Now forget all that you learned how to do that, because you've got that nailed. Now just do it. And that's when I was introduced to the idea of doing four takes from the beginning to the end. Just start the song, sing it all the way through. Okay, now switch tracks. Now do it 4 times, and then just picking the best line from each. Which is not cheating per se, because you're just in studio. You're just trying to come up with the best performance possible. It goes for with guitar solos sometimes, with bass parts or whatever. You'll play it all the way through, and and that way you get a fresh performance each time, because you're not, stopping the tape and then going, okay, and then dropping in with the vocal and trying to maintain the fluidity of the performance.
So when On the Loose hits the top 30 on the Billboard charts in the United States, this is February 83. I think it peaks at number 26. That's your American breakthrough. So I'm curious, how important was that for Saga to break through in the United States of America? And what did that mean for the band going forward?
Well, I mean, the obvious answer is it widened the audience, the exposure. The more and more people could, hear what we're creating, and your audience suddenly goes from here to here. It's the exposure alone. It was crazy, and then the timing of it was perfect, because MTV was just beginning.
Yeah.
They were just about to launch. We had been approached by management saying, we'd like to do a video or a couple of videos. We're going, okay. They're going to be music videos. It's going to be kind of half story and half performance. And we're like, what? And so we shot the videos for a number of them, but the first one being On the Loose. And it was in the can. It was done. It was ready to go. And MTV came along, and they had a brand new medium and very little content. Guess who had a video ready to go?
Yeah.
Right, perfect timing.
Yeah,
perfect timing. And the record company was like, yes. So, I mean, the amount of airplay we were getting from MTV combined with now your top 40 radio, and I remember that year, the launch of when On the Loose came out. We did, I'm guessing 5 or 6 tours just back to back in the States.
Wow.
Pat Benatar, Eddie Money, Jethro Tull. It was just one after another. We just, the weirdest one, I'll just interject really quick. The weirdest one we ever did in terms of lineup was we were sandwiched in between Girls' School and Quiet Riot.
Oh.
And you've got this Canadian neo prog band in between these two heavy metals. And I remember, the funny thing is, I remember the audience kind of going, oh? They kind of looked at, they weren't upset. They weren't like, oh, boo, this is, they were just really confused. Yeah. They knew that I think they knew that there was something good. They just had never heard anything like it. And of course, this is a metal audience, and they're like, well, it's kind of heavy,
Yeah.
But that was the strangest one we did. But no, we just toured the Jesus out of that album that year, and we were away from home a lot.
Yeah.
And
but,
you were rewarded. Sorry, Michael, go ahead. Yeah, we rewarded with the most promising group of the year, as we talked about earlier.
There you go.
Yay,
So it was all worth it. Finally.
So worth it.
That's wild.
I have a weird pairing that you may have forgotten that you did. I want to say it was Massey Hall 81 or 82. Bryan Adams opened for you. And
Massey Hall,
yeah, and it was like, what? I mean, Bryan Adams wasn't Bryan Adams as we know him, but he was just starting out. It was the very first album. That was a kind of a weird opening act, I have to say. Where I'm
musically, yeah. I mean, great CanCon. But,
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, who's this little upstart? young kid thinks he knows. And he came out, but I do, in retrospect, I do remember he came out with tremendous confidence. He just knew.
Yep.
And I think in the back of my mind, I was like, the kid's going to be a star.
Yeah.
Because he just had, like I say, just oozing with confidence, well-written, rock pop songs. And I just thought, yeah, this is going to work.
Yeah.
As a support for a band like ours, probably, it's a bit of a mismatch, but that happens all the time. But
Yeah.
I do remember thinking, yeah, this kid's got it. So.
Yeah. So, we talk a lot about the old days, which are, phenomenal, and people would know you best for in some circumstances. As Saga continues on, 50 years coming up, what was the view? What was the, you were hoping 4 albums because you had 8 chapters. What was it kind of when you realized, okay, this is a long haul. How do we see this going?
Probably when it really hit, I mean, the longevity factor, the 20th anniversary. It's like, how did we get here? 20 years. It's like, where did the time go?
Yeah.
I mean, then 3, add a couple of more decades on top of that.
Yeah.
I think it was around the 20th when we were really starting to feel the longevity factor. It was like, wow, that's when it really sunk
hit for
in.
you.
And because like I said earlier in the conversation, I mean, you get together with a bunch of guys get together, you write a bunch of songs, you record them, you put them out there, you cross your fingers, you hope somebody likes them. You hope somebody likes them enough that you can do another album, and then perhaps another. If you can stay together 5 years, that's huge.
Yeah.
To be blessed with enough support and people enjoying what you do, to sustain that. And I mean, look at me. I've been able to make a living from doing what I love doing for, almost 50, more than 50 years because of a couple of bands before Saga. But all that time I've been able to, do what I do and sustain it, put a roof over the family's head and feed the family. And it's crazy to think about it. Because sometimes you'll speak to someone and say, well, someone's very successful doing whatever they do. So, you've done very well for yourself. Is this what you always wanted to do? Well, no, actually, it's like Monty Python. I always wanted to be a lumberjack. I actually always wanted to be a rock star. It's like, or I always wanted to do that. I always wanted to be a high wire artist in the circus, or I always want to do that. I'm doing what I want to do. I always wanted to do. And I'm getting paid for it. It's like, I sometimes feel not guilty, but it's a lot of hard work. Make no mistake, and a lot of ups and downs. There's been some pretty trying times through the years. Longevity. It's funny. I think it was Pete Agnew from Nazareth once said a few years ago in an interview that you stay together long enough, first you're up and coming, then you're promising, and then you become the classic rock band, and then it's then you start bordering on dinosaur. And if you can muster it through the dinosaur phase, then you become legendary.
Yeah.
So as long as you can get past the dinosaur part.
I agree.
I read that. I thought that was hilarious, and it's true. It's true.
So, in the time that that the band has been in various iterations, you took a bit of time off. And Rob Moratti came in and did an album. And what are your thoughts on that? Or is it not something you're like, I don't know, I wasn't there, I wasn't part of the...
Yeah, I don't talk about that. Can we move on?
Yep. No, totally fine.
It's very bitter about that. Just kidding.
Okay,
no,
hey.
It's what I did was it was exactly 30 years.
Right.
And I thought to myself, at that time, I thought, you know what? It's been a great run. I want to focus on family now. I'd always wanted to have a biological child of my own. I have a stepdaughter, Jessica. But my wife and Gwen and I just went, it's time. You put in your dues. 30 years is a long time.
Long time.
At that, talk about longevity. 30 is a big number.
Yeah.
And I just said, guys, it's a personal reason. It's a life choice, and that's what I want to do. Everything was fine. It's like, okay, well, we're going to move forward. I said, that's absolutely fine. And they found Rob, And I remember at the time they did the album,
Yeah.
but before I had a chance to hear the album, they played a show in Barrie, I believe, at the theater, old theater up there.
Right.
And I was in Canada at the time, or I went up. No, I went up there specifically because I wanted to see this guy singing my songs.
Yeah.
Basically, someone else singing my songs. So I went up to the gig. I didn't tell the guys I was coming up there, and I went into the venue. I got a baseball cap on, and I was like this. And I sat in the back, and I waited, and it was the most surreal experience I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
They came out. They started the show. He came out. and He started singing, and I'm just like, wow! It was like Twilight Zone time.
Yeah.
I couldn't stay. I think I got through two and a half songs, and it was just, and it wasn't him, and it wasn't anything to do with the performance itself.
No.
It was just the it didn't compute.
Yeah.
I was like, I had to leave.
Yeah.
If you ask me about that album, I think it's a very, very strong album, and he's a great vocalist.
Yeah, he is.
But he's it's not me. No, and it's good that they didn't get someone that sounded exactly like
Yeah.
me. He's a great AOR singer. I don't know. I think he took some flack for not fitting in that sense. But I mean, that's unfair criticism because you're talking about replacing someone who's been the voice for 30 years at that point. So anybody is going to be different. I mean, I think I mentioned at one time you might think about getting a female vocalist just to like Linkin Park did, for example.
Yeah.
Then you take away any chance of comparison whatsoever.
Yeah.
But anyway, suffice to say, I think he was unfairly criticized, especially he took some flack from the Europeans for his live performances. Again, that's not fair either. It took me decades to get used to what I do on stage and be an entertainer, not just a singer.
Yeah.
And he had very little experience from a live point of view. So he walked into these huge shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Again, someone who's been there for 30 years. So hats off to him for taking the reins and doing a great job with it. But I feel bad that he took some of the heat that he did.
Yeah, it is a strong album. I mean, I do. I mean,
I agree. I agree.
It's like, okay, no, it's not you. But once you get over that, and you go, no,
100%.
It's not Michael. It's Rob. Let's listen to it. It's a really, really strong.
If you listen to it objectively from that point of view, it's absolutely a very, very strong album.
Yeah, I agree. I fully.
And then
totally
in January 2011, the return of Michael Sadler as lead singer of Saga.
Yeah, that was. I think the first show we did was in Niagara Falls, USA, on an old vaudeville theater. That was the.
Time to come back.
Yeah. It was. I remember coming to the first rehearsal after all that time.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what the guys would think because I mean you leave, and even though it's no hard feelings, that kind of thing, and it's amiable, you don't know for sure if anybody's harboring any resentment maybe or any negative feelings about what you leaving and the reason being and all of that. You left us in the lurch, that kind of thing. So you don't know, and I didn't know for sure. So I just showed up thinking ready to take any side glances or whatever would happen. And nothing happened at all in that regard. I remember we started rehearsal, we hit the first song. I got all choked up, because we did this. I'm singing a song I'd sung a million times, but it was suddenly different. It was fresh for some reason, and no, we didn't talk. It was like essentially a cliche, but like I'd never left. It was like we'd had a 2-week break or something, and it just fell back into place beautifully.
Yeah. Well, and it's not like, I mean, so Steve Negus and Jim Gilmore went off, did a little bit of work. So it's not like you hadn't had, some people say I'd like a moment. People have kind of come and go. And am I correct that Ian Crichton is the through line? The through line, the only person who did not leave the band. Am I correct on that?
Officially, you're right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I know you're all I know Jim Crichton, I'm talking like I know them because I've known them for almost 50 years. But, that Jim has taken some time off, and Jim Gilmore and Steve Negus had done some stuff. So, I mean, I think as the front person, you get to take a little time because you want to go and do some other stuff. So, and
it was
nothing makes it better.
Yeah, it was purely personal and nothing to do, like I said, with the musical differences or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
None of that. It was just purely, it's a family thing. This is what I want to do right now. And to be fair to you guys, I'm going to step away, and I'm sure you'll be fine with it.
Yeah.
And they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was time, and no hard feelings and all of that, and it all worked out. But we've all had moments where we had to step back and just go, I got to do this right now.
Yeah.
So.
As one does in a 50-year career.
Yes, adventure, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Career. I'll put it in air quotes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a career. I mean,
it
maybe
is
not the same as selling digital stuff.
Massive roller coaster. Massive.
But did you have a company car, Michael? That's the question. You were before you had
an
a
airplane.
car. An airplane.
I got 6
true.
helicopters.
What am I talking about? Yeah.
So, okay, so let me do this. Let me remind the listenership again, Michael, who you've been amazing, Michael. Like,
You really have.
I think we made, this was your dream come true, right, Cousin Jano?
Unexpected bucket list. Literally found out on Saturday. And as I said to Mike.
Let me shout out the fact that on December 14th, we're recording on November 25th. So that's coming up. So December 14th, there's a pop-up show. It is, of course, Michael Sadler on the Heineken stage. We're Great Lakes beer fans here, but we love the fact Heineken stage is helping to promote the music as well with great FOTMs like Ed Souza. But on the Heineken stage in Mississauga, also, I'm told that you're available possibly for corporate private bookings. How would people reach you if they say, "Hey, I want Michael Sadler to sing some of these Saga jams"?
My birthday party.
Yeah. Like, how do we contact you?
It's all Ed now. It's Ed Souza's got that covered. I just, I said to him, we were joking around a little bit about it, and I said, there's no reason why people do it all the time. They do corporate gigs. They do. Saga actually did a birthday party. Believe it or not, we were contacted by this massive fan who lives in Florida, and he contacted the band and said, "I'd love to get the guys to play at my birthday party." We're like, okay, how deep are your pockets? And we didn't laugh it off. We thought, well, there's no way he can afford it. I mean, we're going to charge like normal concert fee for a birthday party, essentially.
Right.
But he came up with the dough. He said, I'll fly you down, hotels and diddly-doo. And we did it. It was just, we flew into this gig. We did it for him and his, I think, 30, 40 people. Nice. And then flew home. And it was a blast. But I said to Ed, there's no reason why if it's just myself and Dave Barrett, and you should mention that about the gig. It's myself and David Barrett. We've done this before, and it's a great pairing. We even do a Rush song.
Well done. Yeah.
But I said to Ed at the time, if there's there's corporate people that the way I see it, there are guys that, like, say they in high school were huge fans of the band. And again, the longevity factor comes into play here, where they're now in the corporate world, say, and doing very, very well for themselves. But bucket list wise, either they've never seen us live, or they're just still huge fans. But now they're in a position to be able to do that, to say, I'd love to have them sing at the corporate or a get together or whatever. But would never ask, because it may be a matter of, it'd be great, but there's no way they would say yes, or he would say yes.
Right. Right.
How do you know unless you ask?
Right.
Because there's no shame in doing it. In fact, it's fun. It's different.
Right.
And I welcome it. So I said to Ed, hey, weddings and bar mitzvahs are not out of the question, jokingly. But seriously, if somebody wants me and David to do an acoustic thing, the same thing we're going to be doing at the Heineken stage, for anything private, just go through Ed, just ask Ed. It's worth asking. We can always, the worst that can happen is we'll say no, but you don't know unless you ask.
Yeah.
And Ed's easy to talk to, but
100%. 100%. Now,
I'm
me
not
on the
going to
other hand,
lie to
that's
you and say that if I had that kind of money, you would have been the band on my birthday party bucket list. I'd have been like, can I
That's
get
what I'm
Saga?
well, let's raise the funds for your 40th. When is that coming up? Cousin Jan? So let me tell you, Michael,
played.
I've changed the cameras, okay? You are now on the Zoom. You are now looking at Cousin Jano,
Pleasure
the
to
new
meet
host
you.
of Toronto Mic'd.
Yes. It's an honor. I mean, it's, when you talk about, well, I hope, we write a couple of songs, hope they stick, hope a couple of people like them, and it parlays into a 50-year career. You are the mainstay. Ask anybody who's known me. They'll be like, who's the band? Oh, Saga. It's always Saga. It's an honor. It's a real honor to get to talk with you, hear all sorts of anecdotes. I just have a couple of questions.
Oh, okay. We got to drain this one. We got to let Michael go at some point.
Two quick questions. Favorite song to play, your favorite song of Saga's. That's it. That's the only question.
The favorite one to play or the favorite? That's
Either.
a two-part question?
Either, yeah, or if you only want to ask.
It sounds like
one.
two questions to me, Cousin Jano.
Thank you. Wow. You say that it's a tricky question because it's so subjective and it depends on how I'm feeling. Okay, we'll go with album. Okay. From a vocal point of view.
Yeah.
I'm first of all, I'm my own worst critic. I usually hear things back and go, ugh, and everyone else goes, sounds great, and I go, whatever. Overall, I think behavior for me from a vocal performance, being satisfied with a vocal performance is as close to being. I'm never 100% satisfied, but as close to being happy
album.
with it.
Yeah.
I was in a good place, I think, just creatively and which always contributes to a performance. But in general behavior, any of the songs up there.
Good to know. Yeah, it's a good album.
Goodbye Once Upon a Time is for me I love singing that song and I like listening to it, which is a good sign. So.
Yeah.
Michael, you were so gracious with your time,
you.
and you made this woman's dreams come true. I really want to say thank you for doing this.
My pleasure. Can I just mention may I mention a side project that didn't come up?
Oh my God, yes.
I got involved. I was approached a couple of years ago now, by a man named Beat Zimmerman, a Swiss artist, and he asked me if I would be interested in singing on his first album.
Okay.
And I said, well, like I said, everyone, I need to hear the material first because I don't want to just sing it just for the sake of it. I mean, I have to like it because if I just sing it, then I'm just doing it for the money, and I've never wanted to do that. And you're not going to get a very good, the best performance out of me unless I feel attached to it and I enjoy the music. So he sent me the stuff that he was working on, and I was like, I really, really liked it, and I said, okay, I thought he just, he meant, well, let's, have me sing on a couple of songs or whatever. He wanted me to be the vocalist on the entire album, and I said it'd be my pleasure. We worked it out. He ended up getting Todd Zuckerman on drums, so.
You got
It's funny. It progressed and I got involved a little bit with the writing in the vocal lines and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's his album, and I'm the vocalist. And the project is called Unicorn Umbrellas, and the album is called Every Picture Tells a Story. It's really good, from my opinion, and I will supply you with the link for that. As well as the gig on the 14th, but that's something to watch out for. I'm very proud of it. You're asking me about Saga songs that that are my favorites to sing and that kind of thing. I really enjoyed singing this album.
Oh, great!
And I like singing outside of my comfort zone. Let's put it that way. And I like doing other side projects now.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm doing another one as we speak this afternoon. I'm supposed to be singing, or I'm checking the vocals on a new song from a man named Matt Sinner, a German artist who I've known for many years, and he approached me last week and said, "I've got a brand new song I'd like you to sing on it." I said, "Oh, sure." So
Great. You are busy.
I like to stay busy. I like to sing.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said, it's been an honor. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, you have no idea.
It's been my pleasure.
Thank you.
Anytime. And we'll see you on the 14th, right?
Yes, you will see me on the 14th.
All right.
Recording stopped.
Michael, you're a sweetheart. Thanks so much for this.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. I'll email you those links, and you can attach them when you. Do you know when you're going to drop this? Or?
Yeah, in like 15 minutes or less.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can you wait for the links before you do that?
Yeah, I can wait for the links before I do that. Yes.
Thank you, sir. I'll get the links to you ASAP.
Okay.
Thank you for this.
Thank you, Michael.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Take
Thanks,
care.
guys.
Lovely
Bye.
to meet
Take care.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So, Cousin Jano, I'm still recording the episode. Okay. Okay. I need to know, like, to postpartum here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amazing. You know, and I had a feeling that he was going to be great. I mean, he's been doing this for 50 years.
He was super great.
Yeah.
Like, I do this a lot. That man was. No, I felt like maybe he would have gone 2 hours with you, Cousin Jano. Like, he really
I
enjoyed
could have asked him I could have asked him a million questions, and I was trying to be like, okay, I want to let him talk, but I'm like, but what about this? What about this? What about
Well, how
this?
did I feel? 'Cause I want to let him talk, but I want to let you talk.
Yeah, I know. Well, you just got to sit there.
I'm here to record this. That's my
Yeah,
job here.
that's really-
So I'm going to just share this. You don't love this song that I'm playing in the background. I'll bring it up so people will probably recognize it because I
They
remember
will.
it from Top
Yeah.
40 radio in the
Yeah.
mid-'80s.
Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful song, but
Is this the last Saga hit?
Scratching the Surface, I think, also hit the charts, and that's Jim Gilmore doing lead vocals on that. That I think was a surprise hit for them, but because Jim Gilmore does not sound like Michael Sadler. But yeah, I mean, this song, it's a great song. It's just not. There's songs after this and songs before this that I.
But this is
just
catchy,
feel.
right? Like it's a bit of
Yeah.
an earworm. Let me play it a bit here.
Confused by the things that you do. What do I know? What do I know? I can't stop thinking about you.
I'm dedicating this to FOTM Hall of Famer Mark Weisblot from 1236, who has warm, fuzzy memories
Of this
about
song.
hearing this song.
Yeah, I remember. I heard him talking about it. Yeah.
So can I read to you on our way out here, and then we're gonna do the outro. There are
Okay.
some lovely comments from FOTMs who heard your Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm wearing the Maple Leafs sweater. Your Toronto mic'd hosting debut.
Yeah.
We'll call that this, okay? Because you were the true host of this particular episode.
Tried.
Okay. So in reverse chronological order, Dan J. Great job, Jano.
Thank you.
So glad you got this opportunity. Like,
Yeah.
people are just happy for you.
Yeah. It's
It's okay to cry, Jano.
it's a lot. It's amazing.
Do you want some Kleenex? I have it here.
No, I'm good. I'm not really a crier, but you got a little voice break. It's a lot.
Little
It was-
hitch in the voice. That's all I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's so and that he's so generous. You know, he didn't have to be generous, and I hoped he'd be generous. I thought he'd be generous.
Well, because we blindsided him with the fact, oh yeah, by the way, you're on Toronto Mike with Cousin Jano.
Who knows everything about you, and you don't know her.
Did you
Yeah.
learn anything from the episode?
Well, the thing about Germany and because that was a question I had, the Germany Puerto Rico is like, how does that work? And his
I didn't even
answer
know
makes
about
a
Puerto
lot
Rico.
of huge. And his explanation makes a lot of sense around musicality, around waltz, around classical music. Because
Yeah, very thoughtful.
Yeah.
And I got to get through the FOTMs on the live stream. Sorry, this is very important here. J-Ho, who co-hosted episode. Who's the woman doing backgrounds here? Do we know?
I don't.
You said you know everything about
I
them.
do, and because this is not
Like,
an
is she a
album,
no-
I
I
spend
wonder
a
if
lot of
she's
time.
knowing. Hey, we
Yeah,
have time.
yeah.
If somebody on the live stream, I feel like this
Yeah.
is a job for Jeremy Hopkin, the official
come on,
historian.
Jeremy.
Who's doing background on What Do I Know by Saga
Saga.
here? I want to shout out, so he said, fun chat, great job, Jano and Mike. So I even
Thank
got
you.
some partial credit there as well.
Wow.
Moose Grumpy says,
Aw.
what an interviewer. Great job, Jano. She
Thanks,
never
Miss
said that to me.
Grumpy. You're sweet.
She never said that to
I'll
me.
see you Saturday, I think.
Yeah, Moose Grumpy will be there. Jeremy Hopkin
Excellent.
will be there. I do not know about Dan J. He had some surgery, so I'm not
Oh.
sure. Leslie will be there, as you know, because she's
Yes.
going with you.
Yes.
She says, bravo to both of you.
Thank you, La.
La 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 la.
La.
And shout out to the VP of Sales who's driving me to TMLX 21,
nice.
me and my assistant Morgan. He says,
Oh, yay.
well done, Jano.
Thank you.
Who else? I don't want to miss anybody here. Who do I got here? Oh yeah, hello to Hey Ref. He's the strong silent type. He just, soaks it all in.
Right.
But he's here, absolutely. And the mysterious WBN 1000, hello to you. But I got to say, I thought you did a great job. You
Thank
didn't seem
you.
nervous at all to me.
No. Once we
I
got
was more
going.
nervous than you.
Yeah. Because I
didn't want you to fuck it up.
I know as much about them as they know about them because I've been following them forever.
I got the answer from J-Ho.
Yeah.
The background vocals on the Saga
Is it Alita
song,
Adams?
What Do I Know?
Yeah.
Catchy as heck. Were performed by British R&B singer Sharon Benson.
There you go.
She was a guest vocalist on the
Shout out
track.
Sharon.
She did a great job.
Yeah.
She's going to be our next guest on Toronto Mike. No, I kid. All right, Cousin Jano, we're going to take a
Thank
photo
you.
by Toronto Tree. Even though you're not, I can't promote it. That photo, I want to attach that photo to the permalink for this episode. So
Okay.
you and I by Toronto Tree.
Okay.
And I'll see you Saturday.
Yes.
And thank you for I do not think I would have pursued this gentleman because it's a bit of a blind spot, even though I know a couple of songs from the radio
Yeah.
on the loose, for example. Bit of a blind spot, the prog rocky thing. I'm not sure it was my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But I saw that he was coming to the Heineken stage. I reached out to FOTM Ed Souza. Ickety Split, the barber trick. We got Michael on the show, and I said, I'm not doing this without Cousin Jano. So I want to say thank you for inspiring me to book what I
you're
believe to be a
welcome.
great guest.
Great guest.
And for making it a great episode, because I
Thank
only
you.
know enough to be dangerous about this band, but you know it all. So thank
Know a
you.
lot. Thank you.
Who's next on your hit list that I need to get?
Well,
Is
Jim
it-
Gilmore, but
Oh, is
you
that
only
right?
you only get one. If you can only get one Saga member, then it'll
Well, okay, is this gentleman alive?
Jim Gilmore. Yeah.
Then it's
Yeah.
possible. I can
All
make that
right.
happen. I'll
Okay.
work on Jim Gilmore, and then I'll work on Doug Gilmore.
You can do that too.
I might get them on together.
Perfect.
And that brings us to the end of our 1,805th show. Go to TorontoMike.com for all your Toronto Mike needs. Get your butts to Palma's, what's it called again? Palma Pasta's Palma's Kitchen location. That's on Saturday, noon to 3. Be there for TMLX 21. Much love to all who made this possible. That's Retro Festive, Great Lakes Brewery, Palma Pasta, Nick Ieni's, Kindling, RecycleMyElectronics.ca, Blue Sky Agency, and Ridley Funeral Home. My next episode is tomorrow, live in the basement studio. His name is Oren Weisfeld. He wrote a book about Canadian basketball, and we're going to count down the top 10 Canadian basketball players of all time. Take a guess at your top 10. You can compare the notes. That's tomorrow. See you all then.